Hello everybody, it's Max McAllister from Traxxion Dynamics here this afternoon, and today we are going to take a shot at installing the new Goldstrike Panovista extended convex mirrors. We kind of did a tickler on this a week or two ago, and we've gotten our shipments in. They're up on the website. They're available for sale now. And what this product is, it is a larger surface area mirror. It is convex in shape, so it gives you a broader view, a much wider and broader view of each side of the motorcycle. For those who missed it, it is available in a standard mirror-only version for about, I should know the prices, not a lot of money. And but I think the thing most people will probably go after is this has a lighted sequential LED built into the mirror. You really can't see it until it's on, but it's going to do something like this. So we'll see it once we get it on the bike. There's kind of a representation of it on the box right there. So the instructions for removing the mirror, it's hardly worth talking about it. If you can't figure out how to get the mirror off, you're probably going to have a hard time doing any of this, but there's just one nut, one bolt holds a little decorative plastic cover under the mirror, 2 bolts that hold the mirror onto the fairing frame, and then 1 electrical connector that you just release and the mirror will be off in your hand. So I've got some in here to the workbench, and the first step is removing the mirror glass from the mirror. Now this actually is a little tricky, and I'm going to show you how to do it, but then I'm going to give you a warning. So first step is find the top edge of the mirror, pull the mirror up, looking up into the sky as high as it can go. Turn it over, hold it to your chest here, and you're going to pull apart. You're going to start gently and add just enough pressure required to get the mirror to pop loose, but it will take a firm effort, but you don't just rip it off because you can break it, and I'll show you possibly. That's all you're after, and it will stop. Okay, so if you keep going, I'll show you how you can break it because I broke one. So you're just prying it apart there, and see it gets a resistance. Stop there, just stop. Now from here, this becomes tricky because if you just push down on the bottom of the mirror, it's going to snap back on. You want to rotate this mirror downward now. So pull on the top section, top of the mirror, and try and get it to rotate downward some. Okay? So then the mirror's floating there loose. And what you're going to do is you're going to pull it downward, down. And it clicks just gently. It's not a real snap. So if you can see these tabs, they go up. These little hooks go up, and they hook on these 2 bars. If you pull too hard on it, you'll rip those 2 little bars out. Now, I just happened to do that a minute ago, but I'm not willing to accept any blame because I basically never make any mistakes. Just everyone knows that, who knows me. So this, our bike has been dropped a lot of times. In our testing for various products, I've had my mirrors together and apart a whole mess of times. So was it me? Probably not. It's probably the abuse I've heaped on our motorcycle. But I just want to warn you, I don't want you to be afraid. Just follow those tips I gave you. Gently pull on it till it just pops and stop. And then roll it down, and you're going to slide the mirror down to get it off of the frame. So worst case scenario, you ham fist this because you're already on your 3rd beer and it's Saturday afternoon. It's $35 to replace the little plastic mirror frame. So don't cry. Just have another beer. All right. So on to our good mirror. I've never done this, so that's kind of part of I like to do things that I've never done live so that you can get an idea how long this might take. The instructions tell you to remove this plastic push pin because we're going to get the decorative trim cover off the front. So you're going to pop that pin, and sometimes you have to fiddle with this or get something sharp underneath it. We'll try this first. You do have to remove these 2 screws. My mirror's going to look a little different than yours because mine has the ATL bike brand power folding mirror frames in it, but for purposes of discussion, it's all the same. So there's those 2 screws. We're trying to get this black plastic piece out. If you happen to have our tip over protection kit, you'll have to just barely peel back this tip. So I've got our tip over protection on our bike, of course. And to get this started, there's a good place here. Got that loose, and it came loose from the push pin. Covers off. There's the Honda push pin. Maybe I don't have it fully disengaged is a problem. Nothing like a nickel's worth of nothing to hold up the whole show. There you go. Well, that thing's happy where it lives, isn't it? All right, there you go. Those push pins, they can go right on through and come out the other side, and you have to recock them anyway when you're done. All right. Now, they mention loosening these 2 screws up to help you pass the wire through and get the mirror. I should be doing a better job of following their instructions. How's that? So let's see how I'm doing. Loosen the 2 screws, run the wire through the faceplate, and lay the wire along the channel at the bottom. So we're doing this mirror, and I guess it needs to go through the faceplate, they say, and then along the channel at the bottom. So I guess they're looking for it to go in this channel along the bottom here. So let's try this. So they say you don't have to take this all the way apart. We're just going to fit that wire behind this frame. Remember, yours is just going to look like a piece of black plastic. This one happens to have a metal frame in it because it's a power folding mirror. And then you're going to send this connectors out this slot in the plastic. This might be in your way. That's just 2 seconds. You want to pinch it and make more space to work. Mine's messed up. I had it apart so many times in its poor life. You'll notice there's some wires here without a connector on them. We're going to put a connector on in a minute. You say, well, why did they send me something that's not assembled? I called them to ask them that, and the answer is quite simple. The connector is too big to pass through this slot. So that's the reason. We're going to put that connector on in just a second. All right. So now we've got their harness routed through the channel there behind the mirror frame. And by the way, if there's nothing wrong if you get aggravated and want to just take those screws really loose, it isn't going to hurt anything. All right, so now what we're doing, we're going to kind of get ready to go back with the mirror frame. So I'm kind of taking some of the mirror cover. So I'm kind of taking some of the slack out of that there. So I'm going to put this plastic faceplate back on. Oops, I got to remember to tighten the 2 screws. See, so I almost made a mistake. So there you go. Don't forget, retighten your 2 screws. This is why I do things live the first time with no practice. I want you to see the mistakes you might make, because it's mistakes I make. Let's make sure that wire will still slide. Doesn't seem to want to slide, so I don't like that. I'm going to play with that a little more before I move on. See if I can't get that more behind the frame. There we go. Let's see if that doesn't make life better. I think it does. Okay, yes. So you're going to want that wire really behind this kind of the center line of the frame so that it'll slip. If you don't have it where it'll slip, just undo it and try again until you do get it to where it slips. All right, we're going to put the faceplate back on, the decorative plastic faceplate. We're going to send the wire to the bottom side of this. There is plenty of slack and slots there for it. I'm trying to take my slack the way I want it. Before you snap this all the way in, it looks like we only need a little bit of slack. So we're going to pull some slack forward. All right, let's try that. So when you put the plastic down, it takes away some of your... Okay, there is a slot there. I think we're going to use that slot right in the middle. See how that works. Try and show you on the camera what I'm aiming for here. So what I'm aiming for is, can you see that slot there? There's like a, right here. See that? All right, I want to get the wire, not down here, but in there. All right. This looks like it's going to be right now. Let me get my little protector back where I need it. And there's a tab here. It goes behind the paint. If you mess anything up, it'll all be obvious because none of this will fit right if you haven't got it fitted right. Push pin can go back into its hole. 2 screws into the faceplate. This one screw will be a little trickier to get to. This one under the mirror at this point almost. Make sure you're, get them all lined up nice and straight. Actually, on the stock frames, they're like wood screws. They're not machine screws like these on the power folding mirrors. All right, now the opposite. We're gonna take the tabs on the mirror. We're gonna go up onto those 2 little bars. You can almost see this while you're doing that. I'm on there, and then you just push down the bottom with the palm of your hand. It'll snap. So now the mirror is all reassembled. All right. Now our last little thing we got to do is the electrical connector. Now, effectively what they're doing is to get power in between your stock Honda mirror connection, they're just creating a little T to draw power out of. So there's an in and an out effectively. And that's how they're drawing power. So their connector, they explain to you, green is ground on a Honda, but they're using white on their wires. The blue is the power wire for the turn signal. They're putting out to red their power. And let me see if there's any other printed instructions I need to know. Let's see. They want you, as you slide them in, to not lock them in. And And so you can kind of, I believe, hold this up to make sure you're sending the two wires. Put their connector loosely onto this connector. Make sure they're going in the right slots. So you want red going to blue and white going to green. So I need to flip mine. So I'm just checking this with my eyes. You see the green? We're going to do white there. So let's see if we can study which way the connector goes. This will be obvious too, because the connector has a shape and there's a corresponding shape inside the well of the electrical connector. So I'm going to slide that. I'm not clicking it. These need to go with kind of the guts up. I'm comfortable at this point locking mine. So I've pushed it in, it locked, because they describe it as sliding them both in. But I've aligned them and inspected them, made sure I've got the right one going the right way. There's only two, so you can't screw it up. You'll feel it very positively click, and it makes a click. And then there is a waterproofing yellow rubber gummy on it that seals up the connector. And so that's all in there, and that's pretty good. Last part will be to fit this to the motorcycle. So this is, good to connect at this point. That's going to go into your stock Honda connector. So let's go out to the bike and have a look, see how it goes. This is my right mirror. So I've got their connector, plugging into the Honda boot. I'm going to say, there's not enough wire and slack and things to jam that into the other boot. That's not important. Your motorcycle will not likely have this. This connector I'm connecting here is for the ATL bike power mirror kits that we sell also at Traxxion.com, www.traxxion.com. All right, so these all fold in little Z patterns. Tuck them back down in. There's a big, huge gaping hole down in the frame. Take your time. Don't force or pull on anything. Just let it poke in there, drop down in that well that's there. All right. Now, what I'm going to do, because I've never had a set of these before I'm going to take one mirror bolt. I'm just going to loosely thread it in the hole, and I'm going to test this light, the mirror and the light, and see how it goes. You know what? I've got the power folding mirrors on here, so they're going to want to move. I'll probably go ahead and tighten these bolts so you can look at it. Pro tip, there's a lot of wiggle in this mirror bracket, as you can see. Take your time and kind of align it to your bike, so that you have a nice flush looking edge there. Don't just let it droop to wherever it lays. All right, if you want to come around behind with the camera, there is a protective film on here. It says remove before use. We're going to do that. And turn it on. So let's try a turn signal. I've only got one. Look at there. Pretty cool. Come behind the bike so you can get a look at that. So for reference, here is the stock mirror. So this mirror is wider top to bottom, and it protrudes outside past the outer edge of the mirror like a whole man's thumb worth past the outside. A good 1.25 inches, actually, bigger than my thumb, because I got my protector on. That's fun. So probably 1.25 inches outward. And there is a line in the mirror that kind of represents, there's a delineation there. Let's see what it actually looks like. Let me sit on it. Yeah, so that's really giving me a wide view out there compared to this one. So if where I'm sitting with this mirror in the same position, I can't see my cameraman, but where I'm sitting here, I see the cameraman and the wall, actually. So it is significantly wider field of view. Let me look at a minute. What's the quality? What's the optical quality? Seems just fine. Does it look different as well? No, it's just different. It's just bigger, and for sure the convex effect is significantly wider. So where I'm sitting, I can only see like barely to one side of my cameraman here. Here I can see all the cameramen and probably another foot or a foot and a half out wider to the wall. So you might find that if you're looking for cars that when you're trying to change lanes, you'll just have to play with finding your right angle. So that's them with the turn signal. So there you have it. I'm not gonna. There's one more bolt you put back. That's the plastic cover. I'm not going to demonstrate that. Hopefully you're smart enough to figure out how to put one bolt with the plastic cover on. And so that is the Goldstrike Panovista convex mirrors with sequential turn signals. And don't forget, they sell these in a non-lighted form. So I was pleased. I hadn't opened this kit. I've had it for a while. They were asking me to wait to review it until they got their main shipment in, and so now that's done. I was thinking you're going to have to pull wires all through the bike and tie it in like you would almost any other lighting accessory on a modern Goldwing. So you're going to have a long harness that went back and tied into a plug-and-play pigtail at the rear of the motorcycle, which is how almost all lighted accessories on the Goldwing are. The way they did this was really creative and smart and simple. So it really simplifies this installation. It's the only hardware is one bolt on the decorative cover, 2 bolts on the mirror. That's the disassembly level, and then you can go work on a workbench on a towel. So I think it's pretty cool. They're for sale at www.traxxion.com. Check them out. Lighted and non-lighted, just depends on what you want. So please give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget, hopefully you've subscribed to my channel, and please share with your friends if they're interested in a product like this for their Goldwing. Thanks.